What's up, everybody? Um, Welcome back to my channel. John Giordano is my name. Sorry, the Don Giordano is my name. Um, okay, I don't know what happened there. We're gonna be watching a video. If what if we had to rebuild human society from scratch? Cool. I like ideas and questions like this because it's like, okay, so how would you go about starting from the ground up again? Like, I pose this question to you guys in the comments. Let me know if, let's say, let's pose a quick scenario before we get into the video. Nukes went off. Nukes. Let's say a virus. Let's say nukes. Say a virus. Say a virus. Oh, let's say aliens. Oh, what scenario do you want to pose? Okay, you can take from those three, and I will go with let's say nukes. Okay, sorry, we get taking a minute to get into the video. You can skip to like, I don't know what the timestamp is. Maybe 3 minutes because I do like to talk a little bit. But and now 1 minute, 2 minute. Guys, I'm so sorry. These silences, these allergies are getting the best of me, and you guys are witnessing what that looks like. And this is a very intimate moment. And okay. But anyway, so let's say okay, so some nukes go off and we survive. Actually, no. Let's say zombies. Let's say zombies because I like the zombie scenario. What do you guys do? Firstly, I would stay put for maybe a day, but a day is a lot of time because it's gonna get worse and worse. Not stay a day. I would get the fuck out of the city as soon as I could and get to a location or a farm that I know is going to be safe and secure. Where okay, cool, let's hunker down, let's regroup, let's think of what the fuck is going to happen, and let's move from there. So I would gather my friends, my family's all the way across the country, but my aunt is here, so reach out to my aunt and her family, and then my friends. But bringing family along can slow you down. That's the thing. But also you need your family, man. Help out your family, shit. But everyone get their family. Let's get the fuck out of here. Is that realistical? And am I bad for thinking that? Am I? Is that against my? Is that bad morals? It's not bad morals. It's realistic. It's logical. You have a lot of people. It's gonna slow you down. But if you don't, you're gonna be alone if that's the case. So, what do you choose? Pick your poison. Do you want to be alone and survive, or do you want to take a chance, be slow? I mean, I said slow the first time. It's like, what do you choose? What do you choose? What do you choose, chat? I'm calling you chat. What do you choose? My dons. Yeah. What do you choose? Do you choose to bring your whole family along, or do you choose to be pragmatic and just fuck off and worry about yourself or the few people that are around you? For me personally, I'm in a big city with a lot of people, a lot of traffic, a lot just going on. So that is going to be very difficult. But you know what? Let's go with the family because at least then I'll have moral support and I'll be able to also give moral support to people and help build up something. Because again, you don't want to be alone because that was very dangerous. Guys, this video hasn't even started and we had 4 minutes. I'm so sorry. And I haven't said nothing, eh? I said nothing in that whole entire. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. But eventually, we started to watch the video.
The world has ended. The sky has fallen. Doomsday has come and gone. So now what? Well, let's start rebuilding civilization, of course. How would you begin to come back from an apocalypse? What could you use from the remains of our old society? And how would you be able to remember anything? This is What If. And here's what would happen if we had to rebuild human society from scratch. Well, you might be wondering how exactly the world ended. Well, that's not so important. It could have been a deadly virus, a massive asteroid collision, or a nuclear war. Or it could have been all of the above. What's more important is that you are among the lucky survivors of this doomsday scenario. But you would have lost a few things that were essential to the life you
She's
led
not doing
before.
anything. What are you doing on your phone, lady?
Internet and computers no longer work. Libraries and databases have been destroyed, and many of our world's knowledge keepers, like scientists, engineers, and doctors, have tragically perished. But you wouldn't have much time to mourn. If you wanted to keep the torch of humanity lit through these terrible times, you'd need to focus on what you could do with all the other survivors to, well, survive. And to start rebuilding society, you'd really only need 3 essential things. In his book, The Knowledge, How to Rebuild Our World from Scratch, astrobiologist Lewis Dartnell says that even though there have been many things vital to our society's development, there are 3 essentials that stand out.
Okay, before they even tell us what do you guys think they are, I feel like it's got to be, you will need food, you'll need water, you'll need warmth. Food, water, warmth. That's what you'll need. But to start rebuilding, I feel like through rebuilding, people will start being like, hey, I'm used to this, I want something new. And so the whole, almost this evolution of, infrastructure and just things that we interact with, that we use, homes, tools, will start evolving from there, because if you've taken care of those things, then you can start going from there. So what, post in the comments, what do you guys think before we continue with this video? You can pause the video, wait, because I genuinely like to hear you guys' what your thought processes is, because I know that maybe for me someone else would have said something different, and I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Okay, I want to hear that.
Of all else,
Why are you so loud, bruh?
fire and knowledge.
Food, fire,
You
knowledge.
need to
Okay.
figure out how to ensure everyone gets the food
Go one
and
of them.
nutrients they need to survive. You'd have to harness sources of power to make tools and fuel transportation. And lastly, you want to share and record that knowledge so your society's future could continue to thrive. And while you might consider yourself a smart cookie with a sense of rugged individualism, you wouldn't be knowledgeable enough to rebuild things on your own. You'd need the collective wisdom and strength of everyone around you, and be ready to ask questions and explore outcomes. Step 1 to rebuilding society would involve the most important thing: staying alive. In the beginning, you'd have to get by with no power,
That's fine.
no antibiotics, and
No.
none of the comforts of our modern world. During this
It's actually
period
very
of
cold,
time,
very, very
you would
cold.
need clean water, shelter, and fire for warmth. If you don't already know how to take care of these things, you better find some people who do, ASAP.
Dwight
Step
Schnooze.
2 would rely on scavenging what remains of societies to find things that could be useful to you and others. First and foremost, that would mean going through supermarkets for anything with a long shelf life. Of course, this wouldn't be a long-term solution, but it would at least tide you over and keep your stomach growling to a minimum. Growing a wide variety of foods would be an essential next step. And then, of course, you'd want a way of preserving them. Grains like wheat, rice, and corn have been some of the most important crops in human history. They grow fast and fill us up. Put the focus on them first. You'd need to develop technologies to grind grain into flour, similar to the ancient Roman water wheel or medieval windmill. Otherwise, you'd be stuck doing it all by hand.
Oh, is that what a windmill
Wouldn't
does?
take you and your community too long to figure out something that works. Then
Ah,
you'd finally be
I
able
did
to
not know that.
concentrate on
Makes
more
sense now.
complex things, like power sources other than fire. After years of rebuilding the basics, it may be tempting to think you could pick up exactly where modern society left off by burning fossil fuels. But you'd find that we've already used so much of these resources up, they would no longer be so easily accessible. You'd need to build extremely complex drilling systems in very remote areas. And that wouldn't be so realistic after an apocalypse. You'd likely be limited to burning things, and if you wanted to start any large-scale industrial projects, such as making steel, bricks, or glass, you'd need to burn a lot of fuel. Charcoal would probably be the best available option. Charcoal burns hot, hotter than coal. It's practically carbon neutral too, so this would be a relatively sustainable model to rebuild your society with. You could take a few lessons from Brazil, which is currently the largest charcoal producer in the world. Just take your timber, air dry it, pile it into a soil-covered mound, and let it smolder. If that's not sustainable enough for you, well, I'm sorry to say that you wouldn't be able to jump right into using renewable energy. While it would seem nice to throw up a bunch of solar panels and call it a day, these are made from pure silicon. And silicon is sand, processed in a complicated manner you wouldn't be able to replicate just yet. And then there'd be possibly the most important step of all: communication. Connection is vital for human beings. You'd need to find and talk to other survivors in order to save the human race as a whole. Now, on a small scale, you could communicate with your local community by teaching people and inspiring them. Stories are a great way to retain information. A well-told story could make it 20 times easier to remember important facts. But to find survivors beyond your immediate surroundings, basic technology like a radio would be vital. This could seem simple, but it would be even more complex than building a toaster from scratch. If you managed to figure that out, the next challenge would be communicating messages. This is where something like Morse code would come into play. But there's a good chance you'd have to learn that from scratch. The upside is that even if the people receiving the message can't understand it right away,
They know.
they at least know there are others out there. Once you established contact with other communities, you could start trading with them. You could share resources and information, and that would improve both communities' ability to survive. Piece by piece, you'd be on the road to rebuilding society, and who knows, maybe you'd be off to a better start, since you'd be using the power of your collective intelligence and will to survive. Or maybe you'd like to see how well you'd fare if you were the only person left on Earth. But that's a story for another What If.
Fuck, if you were the only person on the fucking planet. Ugh. Me, I'm very introverted and antisocial, but even that's kind of daunting. It's like, okay. Like, okay. Because that's just you waiting to die. Slowly. Slowly. Fuck. But anyway, yeah, I was also expecting a bit more from this video. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I even wasted fucking 5 minutes before the video started talking, rambling. Shout out to y'all that made it to the end of this video. You, thank you. You know, what's your name? Pop in the comments. Tell me about yourself. How's your day? Did you learn anything from this video? I mean, I'm sure you learned something, but was it what you thought it was? And quick game before we close off. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Anyway, cheers guys.